We're back with another video. Big possible storm on the way late this week. Lots to talk about. It's been a while. Been a few days since I last uploaded. Apologize for that. Did have a little slider that moved through earlier in portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Dropped 1 to 3 inches here and there between Philly and New York City. Besides that, not very impactful. Could have been bigger. That's heading out. Bigger storm possibly late this week into the weekend and then to the start of next week, which that one is where my eyes and attention is really focused on for our next winter potential. So let's get right into it. We'll talk about satellite imagery first, okay? Kind of highlights all the features that's going on, brought weather the past few days. Talking about that slider, we'll actually start in the east this time, becoming a more formidable low, and honestly, it was very impressive on imagery when it was over here more in the mid-central U.S. Now, heading relatively east-northeast, nice cirrus clouds on the north, and then you kind of see the severe threat right here. Here, I'll box it in pink. This is where your severe threat was. There was actually a little bit of a severe threat previously, so I definitely regret not recording a video. Definitely had some last-minute trends. Okay, wintry side wasn't as impactful, but severe weather was. So apologize for that, but we're back on the train. So this heads east-northeast. Again, might clip areas of southern Nova Scotia. Probably not going to be anything too impactful. We'll see how it affects any weather downstream in Newfoundland. But for us, it's done. Just leaving some residual cloud cover along portions of the eastern seaboard. Way to the west, why am I skipping the central U.S.? I mean, it's quiet, okay? Some cirrus clouds from the actual kind of cloud deck that we're kind of getting from this upper level low that's impacting the California coastline. Besides that, pretty quiet Gulf moisture leading to some cloud cover there. Some cloud cover, high cirrus passing in the north central U.S. But weather-wise, it's quiet. Now in the west, again, here's your low right here. Always, it's going to be a train of low pressures now. Okay, you have one here. You almost have one trying to kind of counteract it right behind it. This is going to move onshore, and it's going to bring some heavy precipitation in these areas. Okay, it's been active. It's only going to get more active. It's not been nearly as active as winter usually is, but it's going to resume. Okay, we're going to have our atmospheric rivers, we're going to have our snow in the higher elevations. It's all coming for the west, especially with the pattern flip as we get a more of a ridge in the central U.S. and a trough in the west. Okay, it'll be something like this. Okay, it'll probably peak, the height of the ridge will be in the central U.S., a little weaker in the east, but you're going to feel the effects as well, especially in the southeast and portions of the deep south. So lots to talk about. Alerts and indices, I mean, the west is very active now, okay? You can see that quiet in the east, okay? It's really just a split. The western half, lots of alerts. East, practically nothing. In the north central U.S., though, some winter storm watches just due to passing by Clipper. We'll see that on our latest mesoscale models. And we'll also check out current surface analysis. We can see the features on a graphical map. Further south, red flag warnings, all because of dry air, warmer temperatures, and sun. And so, all leading to favorable conditions for fire. And it's very windy. That's the main course. And you can see that with these kind of sandy colored alerts here. All wind advisories, extreme wind warning. So, in these areas I box right here, watch out for fire issuances, got to take it seriously. And then in the higher elevations, so when we go west, low pressure here, some hydrology outlooks in the lower elevations, but it's mainly the higher elevations that's getting the brunt of this storm. All in here, wherever you see the higher elevations, is where you're getting that heavy mountain snows, mainly in the winter storm warning areas, and then in the advisory areas getting lighter amounts, but still impactful nonetheless. So let's take a look at surface analysis, okay? I feel like it'll highlight our features pretty well. So here's your low. If you look on far right side of your screen, this is the low. Far right of your screen. Sorry about that. It's not a strong low pressure, but definitely looked impressive at the top. Under the hood, probably not as impressive. This is moving, again, east-northeast, a little bit of warm front, cooler air. We got snow, I'd say, most heaviest snow was right in this area, right in here, okay? This was your heaviest snow, maybe arguably a little more north in that area. It was actually rain in DC, rain in Baltimore, more of a mix in Philly. Once you get north of Philly is where you had your main accumulations, okay? So that's what it was, but even there, it was light, 1 to 3 inches, nothing much. A little bit of a replenishing of the snowpack, but not much. I will say, a lot of the snowpack will be melted by the end of this week. Those big piles are not going anywhere, though. Go further north, central U.S., here we are. A little bit of a low right here, another one up here. These interactions is what's leading to our winter storm watches over in the north central U.S., and then way down in the west, here's kind of where all your little low pressure activity is going on. You got a low right here, another one right here. Here's your upper level low, mainly offshore. These two lows are your ones that are bringing that cold front and bringing in the Pacific moisture for precipitation. And then a little bit of a stalled front right here, keeping areas north of this line cooler. You can see 20s, especially in the higher elevations in these areas up here. So that's your station, and then another little cold front kind of right here, not moving much, but reaching the coasts of, like, say, Washington State, for example. Let's take a look at short range models. Okay, I feel like it's going to depict everything. Here's your low right here. Definitely looks impressive. Brought some snows earlier. Winter storm. So this is what we're watching. So this low that you saw here, these two are going to interact. Okay, right now, back here. They're right back in here. They're going to interact. You see that precipitation. Here's your low. This is all focused in the west. There's your low right there. Here, don't get confused by all these lows. Just think of it as one big, broad, low pressure. This spins onshore. All this moisture, which is also pretty interesting, isn't just heading east, so to speak. It's honestly getting pulled up by those two lows over here. We'll just call it one low. Pulling up this moisture from our Pacific low, and so it's getting its act together. And this is not just going to affect the north central U.S. It's going to affect these areas right in here for wintry weather, I would say. Okay, so probably a little more north than I just drew. There's your low. It's going to be a robust low, honestly. I feel like it's robust. Like, precipitation just starts breaking out. I would say this is overrunning, okay, because this is warm air advection. Okay, and you got to get pretty north for this precipitation, honestly. The overrunning event, warm air advection surging up. You could see that earlier, how you had that moisture pull. Colder air confined way up here, but where it is overlapping with the precipitation, you're getting snow. And there you have it, okay? Lots of rain to snow event possible. For example, up here in Minnesota, it's raining, then you go over to heavy snow. There's your low. It's a weird track. This isn't a common storm. It's not unusual, but it doesn't happen every winter is what I'm saying. But it's interesting. There's your it's very elongated. It's just like the stripe of precipitation right in here, okay? It probably stayed north of DC, Baltimore, maybe even Philadelphia, okay? Even New York City doesn't get too much. It's more rain, okay? Showers in Philly, stays mainly north of DC and Baltimore. Boston, it's going to be close because some models have snow, some models have rain, some have a mix, okay? RGEM is the one that has a mix. Starts as rain come Wednesday afternoon, then you get into snow by evening time then, where you could accumulate a little bit as colder air comes crashing down. But the most impact, I would say where you're getting the most impact is likely in here. This is a very thin area. I'd say likely in here. It falls off once it gets towards into the northeast, but I'd still expect some winter weather advisories, which is possible. RGEM isn't as enthusiastic. Sorry about that. If you do have this heavier snow, though, I will say this is a tight pressure gradient, okay? You can see that by these lines. I don't know if we're going to get a blizzard warning, but I do think at least in whatever winter storm warnings comes of it, it could. I wouldn't be surprised if we get blizzard warnings, okay? I'm not saying it will happen, but it could. Even if it doesn't, any winter storm warnings that do get issued, I do think there will be some sort of wind issuance or mention, just given these winds are going to be very prevalent, okay? I don't know if it shows winds here that well. Okay, MSLP 10 meter wind. There's your wind, okay? It's not the most impressive, but you have wind, okay, right in here. This, for example, this is up to 32 knots, okay? That's, I don't know my knots to miles per hour very well. Probably around 50 miles per hour. in these areas. See these patchy areas? There's wind. There's gonna be wind associated with this storm. No matter how you want to say how strong it gets, how prevalent it is the main question. Now, I also think there could be an icing aspect. It's not going to be significant though. I mean, you can see it just barely with these little pinks in like these areas. Okay, right on the forefront of the storm between the rain and snow. There will be some sort of mixed line that could be ice because you could have more low. You don't really have cold air damming over here, but you might have just a little bit that's able to overrun and cause some ice concerns, but I wouldn't think it's anything too important or too what do you call it? Sorry, too significant. Okay, now this is what we're also watching. See this band of precipitation? This band of precipitation right in here is what we're watching for dynamic cooling. Okay, whatever precipitation of this band is in the snow, it's gonna be dumping snow. It's gonna be heavy snow. Okay, so you could go from heavy rain to heavy snow quick. This could be that type of setup. Okay, most favored, I'd say portions of north central Minnesota, and then other area probably right here in Wisconsin, maybe near Milwaukee. Okay, probably south of near Milwaukee, probably, maybe south. But even there could be some heavy snow. So there it is. It gets strong, but then kind of gets stretched apart. But that's gonna be impactful. We'll watch it. Heavy rains on the south side and showers on the extreme southern edge. Then we're watching another little system, Southern Extreme Energy. We'll see if that becomes anything. There's some cold air lurking nearby, but if we're looking at surface temperatures, actually pretty mild. Okay, I mean, this is mild air. I mean, you have 70s up into St. Louis. It's gonna be pretty mild. Okay. Now let's talk about kind of more in the future. So Euro will highlight everything. Here's your storm. There it comes through. There, for example, keeps Boston mainly rain. But there's some discrepancies on what happens next. Arjun, there will be a system. Okay, this is our first system of two I'm watching. This, honestly, though, I think it's going to have strong warm air advection. I think it's going to be rain in probably these areas. Okay, probably. Okay, it's going to be, I would probably say Caribou might get some wintry. I mean, it could be some wintry weather up further in, like, I'd say north of New York City it'd have to be if you want some winter weather, at least with the shot of winter weather. Okay, north of New York City, there you have it. Okay, north of New York City, there's discrepancies though. Okay, first you could have what the Euro shows, which is I think a little colder. Honestly, haven't been too much in tap with the runs. For example, here's GFS is warmer. Okay, north of New York City. Sorry, I didn't mean to say up all the way. You will have an antecedent cold air mass before this storm, but it's mainly supporting southern New England and north. Okay, right here. For example, like what I'm saying is Philly, DC, Baltimore, New York City, likely rain. Okay, Boston could get interesting. So there's your rain. Could be even a severe threat. We'll watch that. There's your snow starts to break out again north of New York City. Even the highest elevations, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, could just get maybe brief mix before rain or ending. It's a quick system though, but Boston could get some impactful snow. So we'll watch it. It has that one low, then another upper level low that swings by and reinforces. So that's the first storm. But what that does, you want it to be rain for snow lovers from DC to New York City. Why? It brings cold air. That upper level low brings that cold air and drags it south. For the fun of it, we'll go. Here's your 540 line. It's a deep cold air mass. I mean, it's not the coldest, so we can take a look at New York City, for example. It's pretty chilly. I mean, compared to how warm it's going to get. Here, for example, though, it's just a fleeing air mass and you go to rain. GFS, though, is way interesting. Much more interesting, for example. Here it is. Okay, GFS, there's your one storm. This is the one that comes. This is what we're watching, okay? You need a storm to trail this, okay? You're going to have the 540 line that dips. There it is, dipping down. Right behind the storm, you have another low. This is difficult to get in these situations, but if it were to happen, 540 line is draped almost to DC. You have, this is some cold air behind it, and you break out snow for the major cities, and it becomes a big storm as it goes north and east, okay? That's what I'm watching next. Okay, that's what we're really watching next. Is this storm, okay? GFS is a hit because there's a storm. Whoops. There's a storm that follows the warm storm late this week. This hits early next week. Euro, no, because with the Euro, there's no storm behind it. I mean, this is your next storm, which is almost till Thursday is when the Euro shows its next storm. GFS is Monday. So, big discrepancies. We can look at the other models, for example, Icon. I think it's more in the GFS suite. There it is. Low Trails. I mean, that's a big storm. Don't get too excited, but that's a big one, okay? 540 drops, and you get a snowstorm for DC, New York City, Boston, I-95 special. Go to CMC, Canadian, just coming in. Ooh, this is just coming in. We'll go to OOZ. We'll see how it shows. It doesn't show the storm, okay? 12Z. We'll see if we can revisit once I'm back. But this is your one storm. This is a little colder, but we'll watch it. Watch this 540. Severe threat. This is what we're watching next. Marginal little severe threat off the coast of SoCal. That's what we're watching with that upper level low. And then this threat, day 4. This is what we're watching with that storm late week. It comes across. It's tracking north. Another upper level low. You get wintry precip to break out in these areas. Warm sector. And you can have severe weather in these areas, and then we'll see if anything gets introduced in these areas. Probably won't be as strong, but here definitely got to watch out. So this is portions of the Midwest. Now let's take a last look at the early week potential, or even late this week on the NBM. So here it is. This is for this kind of elongated low pressure. Here, for example, the NBM has Boston. Oh, is this O1Z? 13Z. Let's go to 13Z. Boston, for example, here it's all rain mainly. Some snow on back end, but it's nothing insane. Behind that, though, Friday, Boston shows a hit for Boston, for example. And here you see it again. Wintry precip is north of New York City. Not even the suburbs. You gotta be north. Okay, I mean the extreme northern suburbs. In these areas, most favored for snow. So New England, this could be your storm. Again, it's still far out though, so we'll have to tone it down until then. But fine-tune details. So you see the signal right after those. So this storm comes through, and you do have ensemble support for a storm right behind it. Look at this break, okay? This signals from your departing storm. This signals from your oncoming storm. If this is this close together, you will have a winter storm probably in these areas, probably up in here. If not, if this is just even over here, which I mean some of the NBM spread has, it'll be warmer, you can get rain, or you might not even have a storm at all, okay? If you have nothing, or it's too much of a delay where you get warm air to surge back up. But NBM kind of has a split. I do agree with kind of the split. It's I-95 looks to be the mixing line, okay? At least up until Boston. But these areas are most favored for snow. Definitely interior favored, okay? I definitely say interior favored. But this could be another one that would be a close call for early next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see if Canadian got any more runs in. Not yet. I'll be with you guys tomorrow though. We'll see all the updates. Could be interesting week ahead. Have a great rest of your day.